I'm Paul Van Schoyck of Taekwondo Guide, and this is Topic Tuesday. Welcome. Our topic this week is why you should not do Taekwondo, or any other martial art for that matter. Wait a minute, is he telling me to quit Taekwondo? No, I'm not telling you to quit. I'm wanting you to examine your motivations for practicing martial arts, because a lot of people, well, I think their motivations are out of whack. Why should you practice a martial art? Well, to the left of me, there's a sign on the wall titled The 14 Important Training Guidelines. It was written by my instructor. The first guideline reads, "The purpose of training should be the enhancement of the mental and physical self." It's all right there. We practice martial arts to become better people. But why should we want to become better people? What difference does it make if you're physically stronger, more coordinated, mentally sharper and more focused? Well, of course, these things allow you to personally lead a more fruitful life. But why should that matter either? To me, and this is an opinion, but I don't think you'll disagree, the biggest or best thing we can do in life is serve others. If you disagree, do you think you should just live to serve yourself? Probably not. You probably all know somewhere deep in your soul that the highest thing we can do with ourselves is serve others. So what difference does it make if you're stronger, sharper, all these things? Well, it makes you more of service. Consider someone who has no skill, who's physically weak, who's mentally dull. These are not people who can be of very high value to others. The more you learn, the more you improve yourself, the better servant you can be to other individuals. So if you're approaching self-improvement from that standpoint, what can I do to be a better person so that in turn I can better serve others? You are on the winning track. You are on the track to leading a very fruitful life. Or living, perhaps I should say. Why shouldn't you do martial arts? What reasons do people practice that don't fall in line with that? It's this idea of dominance. And I'll tell you, I have been on the internet with this channel for almost a year now. I just crossed over, in fact, 17,000 subscribers. Thank you for that. I'm incredibly grateful for all of the wonderful people that have interacted with the channel. But as you can imagine, I interact with a lot of people who, they do martial arts for some messed up reasons. To them, it's all about the pride, the ego boost that comes from dominating others. Let's break that down a little bit, because I'm sure you're thinking, well, if I need to defend myself, I need to dominate others. Or, well, if I'm fighting competitively, I need to dominate others. There is truth in that, but it's the motivation behind why you're dominating that is the difference. Let's look at self-defense. I define self-defense as staying safe from harm. I think that's how most people think about it. I'm not using it as a legal term, simply using it as a way of saying staying safe from harm. What do you need to do to stay safe from harm? About the last thing is fight someone and dominate them. Before that are all these other skills that you should be developing. So I would posit, if self-defense is your goal behind studying a martial art and you're not doing these things first, you're on the wrong track. These things are, first, situational awareness. Learn to spot red flags in other people, in environments that might be dangerous to you. Basically, learn to avoid dangerous people and dangerous places. That sounds easy, but there's a whole art behind that. There's a lot to study there. If you're not studying that, you're not serious about self-defense, because that's tier one, most important thing to staying safe from harm. Avoid dangerous places and people. So you don't have to use any of these particular skills at all. What's the second thing? De-escalation and escaping. If you can, you need to know how to verbally de-escalate a potentially violent situation. And if you can't, you should know methods for escaping that situation before it ever comes to needing to completely dominate the other person. Remember that in self-defense, you don't have to win the fight. You just have to get to safety. Sometimes that looks like not fighting at all, or blending with a technique so that you can simply get to an angle where you can then escape. There's no reason you have to stay there and fight. Now let's assume that someone means incredible harm to yourself or someone else, and you have no choice but to harm them so that they can't harm you or others. This falls in line with providing service to people. Because if you yourself are harmed, you can no longer provide service. And of course, if you're preventing them from harming others, you're already providing service. If you really need to harm someone, the best way to do it is not with your bare hands and feet, but with a weapon. You can ask any military around the world if they train for unarmed combat so that when they send their troops on the battlefield, they just start punching and kicking the enemy. You're going to find out nobody does that. Oh, but the Marines, they do McMap, they do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I know. I challenge you to find me one video of a terrorist getting choked out during a shootout. I'm not saying it would never come in handy, just that it's a low skill on the spectrum of skills needed for warfare. Weapons are much more valuable, obviously. So if you need to actually dominate someone, using the skills you've learned in an unarmed martial art are inferior to weapons. You should be spending more time on that if your concern is harming others. How can I effectively use weapons? How can I retain my weapons? How do I know the legal ramifications of using the weapons? All of those things are more critical to you than unarmed skills. So you don't really need to study unarmed martial arts to learn how to physically dominate someone, unless you're a very particular career field like maybe you're a police officer or something like that. And then again, it doesn't look like dominance in the same way that it usually presents itself in a martial art or combat sport. But yes, there are a few people who need to get hands-on regularly and control others. Okay, so self-defense, I hope you can see, is different from the idea of wanting to dominate someone else. At the core of it, you're just trying to stay safe and keep other people safe. You have no desire for dominating. And I would extrapolate that out if you're talking about nations and militaries. If your desire behind using military force is to keep others safe from harm, to serve others, and not simply the domination of a people, then it's the right reason for studying and using military force. Let's talk about combat sports, because after all, don't you need to dominate someone to win the combat sport? Well, sure. If you're doing Olympic sparring, the goal in the ring is to win the match. But the bigger goal, the goal behind doing all of that, is to become a better individual. If you're just getting in the ring to jack the other person up and show your genetic masculine superiority, again, I suggest you're doing this for the wrong reason. What's the point of high-level athletes? Isn't it for them to just show off, show their goods? I don't think so. I think high-level athletes do provide a valuable service to society well outside of entertainment. Inspiration. It's high-level athletes that get regular people to get off the couch and do stuff because they're inspired. They see high-level athletes do something cool with their bodies, and they want to be part of that. They want to be part of some kind of physical culture that allows them to do something kind of cool like that. So in that way, athletes serve the community by inspiring others to become healthier. And if we treat our body like a temple, once again, we can better serve others. We're going to be better instruments for service. So if your goal for combat sports is all about personal improvement and serving others and inspiring others, great. And that goes for self-defense as well. If it's about serving others, you're golden. But there's a lot of people out there who simply view the martial arts in terms of who can beat up who. What can I learn so I can be the toughest guy on the block? You ever notice in action movies, so often the good guy and the bad guy square off at the end? The good guy is armed. This happens all the time. Instead of using their weapon to eliminate the threat of the bad guy, they throw it down and they engage in an unarmed fight with the bad guy. Now that's really stupid, right? If we're talking about self-defense, serving others, what is that? It's ego. It's machoism. It's, I'm showing you that I'm the genetically superior male. That's why I deserve all the women. That's really what's going on. It's almost like a subliminal thing in our entertainment. Look at me. Look how awesome I am. I'm a genetic gift to the world. Mate with me. Why else would they do it? If they really just wanted to serve others, keep everyone safe from harm, including themselves, well, they'd use their weapon and eliminate the threat. But no, instead they get all beat up and battered so that they can show their dominance over the bad guy. You see what we've been inundated with? And that is why so many people, I believe, approach martial arts. They want to ascend the social hierarchy. This is why people get really angry with me when they ask me, what can we do to improve the reputation of Taekwondo in the world of martial arts? Because so many people think Taekwondo is weak and Taekwondo has all these McDojos, blah, 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 blah. I've had to ban people from my channel for making personal attacks on me for suggesting they shouldn't be so concerned with what people think about Taekwondo. I'll tell you this, if your goal is to improve the reputation of Taekwondo amongst combat bros so that you have more social credibility doing Taekwondo, why don't you take that burden upon yourself and go enter a mixed martial arts match and use Taekwondo to win, and do that regularly, and get a group of people to do that. And you know what? If you do that, and people start seeing Taekwondo as, you know, people trained with Taekwondo as their base, doing well in mixed martial arts, absolutely, it will get a little more street cred amongst the combat bros. Why don't you do that? Why do you want other people to do that? You do it. You get up and put your body on the line like that. It's all up to you and how you want to behave. And you know, I don't understand either why they don't just go and do other martial arts that have the credibility already, like Muay Thai. Muay Thai has great street cred amongst the combat bros. Just go do that. But instead, they want to do Taekwondo and get the same credibility as doing these other things. What, you scared of doing Muay Thai? You scared of taking Taekwondo and entering into a mixed martial arts competition? That's what it's going to take. You'll get plenty of credibility doing that, I promise you. And you can even elevate the credibility of martial arts, of Taekwondo, by doing that as well. Take it upon yourself. I would suggest, though, that you might be doing the martial arts for the wrong reason. You want that street cred, that social push up the hierarchy through your practice. You want to show the world that you are the genetically dominant male because you do this tough martial art that is Taekwondo. I'm sorry if that's you. I will not, though, let you poison the minds of my other viewers who are trying to figure out why they're doing this. It's not about that. Guys, it is not about that. Ask yourself how you can serve others and what things you can do to make yourself a better vehicle for service. And if you enjoy Taekwondo and it's a good form of exercise for you, and it's helping you mentally, physically, maybe you have a stressful job and it helps you perform better at work so that you can better serve others. That's great. It's doing exactly what it needs to do in your life. It is enhancing the mental and physical self. Guys, Topic Tuesday is reliant upon your questions. If you want me to discuss something, please drop it in the comments, and I am happy to discuss. Thrilled. I love this dialogue. I didn't get any topics this week that I know of, so I did this myself. But if I don't get any, I'm just going to assume that I'm not providing value to you, and I'll figure out something else. If you don't like Topic Tuesday, I get it. If you want it to keep going, drop those questions in the comments. And a note on Topic Tuesday, this is not intended to replace my regular videos. If you've missed, I'm in a recovery process on my hip, getting it back in check so that I can do more technique videos down the road. I'm actually going through some various treatments right now that involve special diets, chiropractic, some, I jokingly say witch doctor, but some things that I haven't tried yet, and so far so good. So I'm hoping to be back in check soon, making more technique videos. But these are not fancy, they're not edited in any way, they're just a dialogue. Some of you had mentioned that they're kind of boring. I don't want you to sit and watch them. Walk around, take a walk, listen to this. Get some sun, wash your supercar, get some chores done. Listen to these, don't watch them. They're not edited for listening or for viewing pleasure, they're for listening. Again, they're not meant to replace my other stuff. It's a bonus. If I spent a lot of time editing these, I wouldn't be able to do 2 videos. Just doing the one technique video is 5 to 10 hours of shooting and editing. It takes a big chunk of my week, and I'm a full-time business owner. I can't do 2 of those. So this has to be quick and dirty, just a nice simple dialogue. If you find that valuable, keep it going. If not, I'll axe it, I'll think of something else. Always great to talk to you guys. Until next time, I hope you enjoy your training.